Hey everybody, it's Brent back with another edition of Near Mint Musings, and today I'm doing a video response for Steve Speaks. He is having a 250 subscriber contest, which as of today, he's almost doubled that. So while I've taken the glacial route to get to 250, he is taking the express route, rapid river direction to reach 250, now 400 plus. Well deserved though. His channel's a lot of fun. You need to check out Steve Speaks. He does a lot of cool videos where he just shows appreciation for cards, because you know I love that. And he also has his finger on the pulse of the hobby, kind of what's up and coming, what's hot, what's not. So he kind of has a cornucopia of topics on his channel and puts out a lot of content. So check out Steve Speaks. I'll put a link down below. The video contest challenge that he has for us is pretty cool. It's pretty basic in scope, but he just asked to show 5 of our favorite cards, and he kind of left it at that. And I kind of like that. It's kind of a broad brush, right? So what I'm going to show you today is 5 cards that always make me smile. So are they my 5 favorite cards? Sure. They're going to be 5 cards that I have on display in my office. Now, granted, I have a lot of cards on display, but I have these 5 in particular because every time I look at them, they bring a smile to my face for a number of reasons. So I'm going to turn the camera around because this glare is not going to work for showing off cards. And we'll talk about those 5 cards. All right, see you in a second. All right, so here we go. So 5 cards that always make me smile. And you're going to see a trend here because the 2 teams that I predominantly collect are Seattle Mariners and Minnesota Twins. And all 5 of these cards, not that I was premeditated in this decision, are represented by those 2 teams. So how about that? So the first card I'm going to show is just the epitome of pure joy. And this gentleman is more known for his 1989 rookie card, but it's his following year Upper Deck card that brings me joy. And that is his 1990 Ken Griffey Jr. And this picture is just the epitome of joy. Now, growing up as a Mariners fan, being at the game where he had his first home run, I kind of been intrinsically connected to this guy. At least I want to think so. So even though he is one of the mainstays in the hobby, he is definitely a connection in my baseball life and growing up. And this card just embodies everything. I mean, even the back, I mean, just the pure joy. He's just got that $1 million smile that became synonymous with his prowess at the plate and in the field, was the inherent joy that he also played with. And this card always brings a smile to my face. Next off, we're going to go to a dude that had some swag, or as the kids call it these days, drip. He just didn't know it at the time. That's this 1983 Fleer Frank Viola rookie card. I mean, just look at this guy. I mean, dude, he is confident. Yeah, just look at it and I'm smiling right now. It's like, this guy, he's living his best 1983 life, right? So good for him. So this 83 Fleer Frank Viola rookie card always brings a smile to my face. Not to be outdone by Frank Viola, there is this 1979 Topps Craig Cusick. You're like, who? Well, let's look at this guy. First off, this card was slabbed, which is amazing. So when I saw this card graded, I'm like, okay, I gotta have it. I've shown this off a couple times, and this is always the card that, for the longest time, was sitting on my desk facing me. So I always just had this glimpse of the beauty of late 70s glasses and mustaches. Yeah, this guy just embodies everything that was amazing about the 70s. And this was somehow a look that, you know, he wanted to have, I guess. So I appreciate him for having this look. This is just a fantastic card. He's just, you know, he's confident, and I'm happy for that. So this 1979 Craig Cusick always brings a smile to my face. Next, we're going to go all the way back to 1939, and this is a card that I've shown before in a video. And this is, I know I said Minnesota Twins, but this was their first foray into baseball, better known as the Washington Senators, the original Washington Senators. This 1939 play ball of Al Schacht. And if you don't know about Al, Google him. He was called the clown, yes, let me get this right, the Clown Prince of Baseball. And he wasn't a very good player. Actually, the back of this card, let me see if it says it. The Clown Prince of Baseball. He was in the minor leagues forever. He sold himself to the Senators in 1919 by writing anonymous letters to Clark Griffin, the owner of the club, telling him how wonderful a pitcher he was. An injury while sliding forced him to give up pitching for coaching and clowning, and he is now regarded as the greatest individual drawing card in baseball. So literally, between innings, he and another gentleman that I cannot think of his name would entertain the crowd. Kind of basically a early days mascot, but he was also a coach. And this is kind of the antics that he brought to the team. You know, in between games, I mean, innings, he'd slap on this overcoat and a hat and do stuff like this. So look him up. It's entertaining, it's fun, and this just brings a smile to my face, because this is just, you know, the beauty of old vintage baseball tomfoolery. So this 1939 play ball, Al Schacht, will always bring a smile to my face. And last but not least is the card that you've seen in front of you this whole time. And this is the 1981 Seattle Mariners Julio Cruz police card. And this brings a smile to my face, because this just reminds me of my youth going to Mariners games. As is probably the case for a lot of, you know, teams back in the day. You know, and probably, you know, maybe recently, I don't know. Policemen would hand out cards to kids if you just walked up to them and asked for a card. And usually they'd have a different one, you know, a month or a week or whatever. And Julio Cruz was my favorite Mariner when I was a kid. This is 81, so I would have been 9. And I just remember, you know, going to the Kingdom, and before the gates would open, you'd have, you know, policemen out there, and they would be handing these cards out. And I'd always ask my dad, you know, I actually had my best friend's dad was a Seattle policeman, and he would have worked the Mariners games sometimes. And, you know, I would, if I was sitting up in the cheap seats and he was down on the 100 level, he would, you know, before you could text, you would just have to go find him. So between innings, I'd go look for my friend's dad, and he'd hook me up with some cards. And I remember he gave me this one time, and this was my absolute favorite one. This isn't the one that I was originally given. That was just lost over the years, you know, from moving and just, you know, not taking care of cards back then, as kids, 9-year-olds would regularly do. But this card evokes a lot of happy memories for me. The back of the card is kind of has the PSAs of, you know, being safe. You can increase your average against becoming a traffic statistic by obeying traffic safety rules. So this was, you know, tips from the Mariners. And it shows you how to figure out your batting average and then obey traffic rules. So this 1981 Seattle Mariners Julio Cruz police card will always bring a smile to my face. So there you have it, my 5 favorite smile, joy-inducing cards in the collection, at least this week. It might change next week, but that's the beauty of the hobby. So check out Steve Speaks. Again, I will put a description or a link to his channel in the description down below. Great channel, great guy, an up-and-comer in the hobby. Look out, he's coming for you. The guy is just blown up on them YouTubes. So appreciate you all for watching, and hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.